Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be going over kanjis 209 to 249. We're still catching up on the few days that I missed. I'm also going to mention that I'm probably going to end up missing a couple of weeks because I'm going away on business and I probably won't be able to make any videos while I'm away for my job. So I'll try to keep studying and learn some so that I can do the same thing and catch up, but probably for the next little bit I'm just going to do as many as I can a day, and I might miss some days because of that trip, or I might miss an entire couple weeks. But just rest assured, I'm going to try my best to keep up on it, and when I get back I'll resume and try to accelerate a little bit based on the extra kanji that I learned while I'm away. So the first kanji that we're going to be looking at today is going to be the kanji for homecoming, or arrive to. This one has the radicals for saber, which is the two things on the left there, and the radical for broom, which is the one on the right that kind of looks like market, and then a backwards E. So I think that when a soldier comes back home, he puts down the sword in favor of the broom, and that's how I remember this one. The kunyomi for it is going to be kaeru, and the onyomi is going to be ki. So kaeru means to return or to come home. Next one we're going to look at is walk, and this has a few different, it has the kanji for stop and then like few. So few stops is a walk. To, progress at a slow pace would be to have few stops. Let's remember that one. Its onyomi is going to be aruku, and it's, that's its kunyomi, sorry, and its onyomi, I believe this is ho. So ho, yeah, like holy cross. Gotta remember that one. And aruku. Aruku means to walk. Next one we're going to look at is run. And this one here is got the radical for walk. It's got the radical for ground. I just kind of look at it as like walking across the ground quickly. It's got kind of a lot there, but that's how I remember this one. Its kunyomi is going to be hashiru. And its onyomi is going to be, I'm bad with this one, so. Next one we're going to look at is the kanji for stop, which we just discussed in the previous one. This one here kind of looks like maybe correct or justice or above with a little stick in it. I kind of just remember this one, but there's probably a story for it somewhere. Its kunyomi is going to be Tomaru. I believe this is Tomaru. There's a lot of kunyomi, but I'm just going to read the first ones. Yeah, Tomaru. And Tomaru means to stop. And its onyomi is going to be, I believe this is shi, but it might be to shi, yeah. Next one we're going to look at is lively or resuscitation. And this has the radical for water and the radical for tongue. So I think like I'm lively if I'm hydrated. It's kind of how I think of it, but you could also think like water is in like alcoholic beverages. If your tongue is wet, then you are lively because you're partying. The kunyomi for this is going to be ikiru. I believe this is ikiru. I'm pretty good at hiragana. Yeah, there we go. Ikiru and kashi. Katsu. That's tsu. I always mix shi and tsu and fucking katakana. There's like four that look almost identical. Well, there's one with the 1 and there's one with the 2 little things there. Next one we're going to look at is store or shop. This has the radical for fortune teller and the radical for cave. And if you think about it, like a lot of video games, there was always like this weird fortune teller in the cave that is the shop for the game, like Zelda's and even like Resident Evil. The shopkeeper looks kind of like a weird fortune teller. Resident Evil 4, that is. The kunyomi for it is going to be mise. Let's make sure. Mise, not say, mise. And its onyomi is going to be 10. I believe this is 10. Yeah, 10. Next thing we're going to look at is buy, and this has the radical for shellfish on the bottom, and the top is actually the net radical, even though it looks nothing like a net. So if you have like a net of shellfish, then you're going to like buy, like I think like going into like basically like a fish market, and there's a big net with all the shellfish in it, and I'm gonna buy them. So that's that. Bite is going to be, oh, this is bite. Yep, bite is going to be its onyami, and its kunyami is going to be kau. Kau. The next one is sell. If we remember read, which was say and sell, then that's how I remember this one. I actually just remember it based on knowing what the kanji for read is, because this is a part of that one. Its kunyami is going to be uru, and its onyami is going to be bai again. Next one we're going to look at is noon. And this has a few things in it. It has the radical for 10, but you could also look at it like the radical for dry, and then a dash. So I think it's the driest at noon. Technically dry has two little things on top, but that's how I remember this one. Its onyami is going to be go, and its kunyami is going to be uma. Next thing we're going to look at is vapor, or steam. And this has the radical for spirit and the radical for water. So I think like vapor kind of looks like a water spirit if you have like steam coming out. Its onyami is going to be ki. Next one we're going to look at is bow, and this is just a picture of a bow. It just basically looks like a bow. Its onyami is going to be, I believe this is Yumi. Sorry, you, not yo. My bad. Oh yeah, yo's the other one. Yumi or kyo. Q. My bad. Yumi or Q. Next one we're going to look at is times, and this is a mouth inside of a mouth, so it's basically like counting the mouths, I guess, like how many boxes are inside of each other. So that's the times, or the counting. The kunyami for this is going to be, I believe this is mawaru, but I am going to double check, because I like to make sure that I'm not lying. Mawaru, and its onyami is going to be kai. This is meeting, and this is the radical for myself, or man. It has radical for myself and the radical for man, but I like to look at this as like roof, so like myself under a roof meeting people. Its kunimi is going to be out, and its onyami is going to be kai again. Kai, or kai. Yeah, kai. We're gonna actually out, and come on, because we are not going to anglicize everything. Kai. Gotta practice those pronunciations. Next thing we're gonna look at is the kanji for association. And this has like more ever. That's what this one is. Or I. It's I here, but I think when it has a thing on the bottom, it's supposed to be like more ever. At least that's what I was reading somewhere else. So I like to think of it as like the threads of moreover, or the association, like the next thing leading into the next thing. It's like an association between those two things. You can also think of it as like the threads that, you can think of that as like a shelf, and the association of like threading all of your things in your shelf together. I think more thread is like the thread that ties two things together in this kanji. Its kunyami is going to be kumu, and its onyami, I believe, so. Yes, so. Next one we're going to look at is ship or boat. This has mouth, 8, and, or like these legs or whatever, but kind of look like 8. And then this is ship, like a marsh ship, or like our marsh boat on the left. So I just think of it like, this is boat, and then this is like, I don't know, like a bigger boat or something. It's going to be fure or fune. Fune and sei, or sen. Fune and sen. Next thing we're going to look at is bright, and this is the moon and the sun. So these are both the two brightest objects in the sky, both at night and during the day. And also you can think that the sun lights up the moon. It makes it bright. The kunyami is going to be akari, is going to be the main one, but there's quite a few there. And I believe this is May, but May, yeah, May, meh, or meh, I guess. Next thing we're going to look at is company, and this has a few different radicals in it. It's got sign, and it's got salute or bow. I think that there's like a worship of the sign of your company, something like that. That's how I remember this one, I think. So like, yeah, you like you praise your company, or you have a worship for for the company, or you could even look at this as like ground, and for the ground that your company's on, you have an appreciation or respect for that. Kunyomi is going to be Yashiro. Yashiro. And the Onyomi is going to be, let's look at that, Sha. Next thing we're going to look at is cut, cut off, or be sharp. This is 7 and saber. So I just basically think like, or spoon, I guess, kind of looks like 7. But I think basically just, what does a saber do? It cuts. So to cut is to be a saber. It's going to have Kiru is going to be the Kunyomi, and the Onyomi is going to be Setsu? Setsu. Yeah, Setsu and Kiru. So Kiru is to cut. Next thing we're going to look at is electricity, and this is rain, and people like to think of that as like an electric eel or something like that. It's kind of like a rice. So you think like the electric eel in the rain is like zapping everything, shooting these electric sparks everywhere. Its Onyomi is going to be Den. I believe this is Den. Yeah, Den. So Den is an electric thing. So for example, I think this is Densha. Let me see for sure. Yeah, Densha, and Densha is an electric train. This is every, and if we want to remember, it's basically like, remember how ocean was every bit of water? So I just remember it because I know what ocean looks like, and this is just part of the ocean kanji. Its kunyomi is going to be Goto. Goto. So let's make sure. Yeah, Goto, and its onyomi, I'm going to make sure I get the right one for you guys, is going to be Mai. And Goto means each and every. The next one we're going to look at is fit, and this basically looks like, to me, like a mouth inside of a house. So it's like, or a box inside of a house fitting into the house. This one is also in solution, if we remember. Solution was bamboo and fit together. The kunyomi for this is going to be out, and the onyomi is going to be go. Next one we're going to look at is hit, and this to me looks basically like somebody slapping their hand down, like karate chopping a bunch of bricks, and the wood is like snapping. So this looks like somebody snapping a karate chop, snapping a thing in half. So it's hit. Its kunyomi is going to be ataru, and its onyomi is going to be to. Next one we're going to look at is pedestal, and this has mouth and myself, but it actually looks like a box, and you're standing on top of the box, like standing on top of a pedestal. Its kunyomi is going to be Itena. I think this is Itena. Yeah, Itena, and its onyomi is going to be, let's make sure we get this right, Dai. Next thing we're going to look at is music. And for this one here, actually there's like a Zelda reference where this is like a tree, and then this is like the fairy or Navi like sitting on top of the tree, and then you gotta play your ocarina and play your music. So I've seen that one, and that one actually helps me remember this one instantly. If it doesn't for you, I can't really think of another one. You might want to try thinking of a story for yourself that can help you. I find always the stories that I create actually help me even more than the stories other people create. Sometimes the stories that other people create help me basically like immediately remember it. But sometimes the ones that I find more often, the ones that I identify with more help me more. So it's better to figure out a story for yourself than try to use a bad one that I give you that doesn't really work for you. Its kunyomi is going to be tanoshi. Yeah, tanoshi. And onyomi is going to be gaku. This one's public, and this one I look at basically it's myself, and then 8, so there's like 8 of me, and then that would be like public if there's like a bunch of me, or a bunch of people standing in a public thing. Or the other thing you could think of is like, that's like the door is opening, and you're going out into the public. The kunyomi for it is going to be oyake, a bunch of O's. Oyake. And the onyomi is going to be ko. So oyaka is official government, and ko is going to be public matter. Next thing I like to look at is, or the next kanji, sorry, we're going to look at is pull, and this is bow, and then that's the arrow, so you pull the arrow back with the bowl, or with the bow. That's how I look at it. Its kunami is going to be hiku, and its onyami is going to be, I believe this is in. Yeah, in. Next thing we're going to look at is department, and this is the radical for grain or double-ended tree and ladle. So if you think of a department store measures the wood that you're going to get, or the wheat that you're going to get from it. And an onyami for this is going to be ka. Next thing we look at is sing, and this has a few different pieces. It has yon or lack, gap, and this is another one for brother, I guess, on the left. It's got a few different things, but I like to think of this as when your brother is gone, you're going to be singing because your brother's not annoying you anymore. And the kunyami for this is going to be uta, and the onyami is going to be ka. And that's not true. I love hanging out with my brother, but it helps me remember. Next thing we're going to look at is the saber, and this one I just kind of like, for some reason, the radical version of it, the one that doesn't have a top, I just identify with both, but whenever it's in a radical, it just kind of looks like a sword and a sheath to me. Like the two like sticks, like it looks like a sword and a sheath, like a katana with a sheath. And that's how I remember this one. It just looks like a sword and a sheath to me. And the kunyami for it is going to be katana, which is basically a single-edged sword. Katana. And the onyami for it is going to be to. So, yeah. Next one we're going to look at is turn, or a number in a series, and this is a few different pieces, but it's got separate or divide and rice patty. So if you're going to separate all of your rice, it's going to be each one of those rices turns, or a number in a series as you count each of those rice. So that's how I think of that, like separating the rice and then counting them out. Next thing we're going to look at is utilize. For this one I don't actually have a mnemonic, I just kind of remember it. It's used in a lot of other stuff, so I just kind of pieced it together. Like, it's used in angle, and I think like utilizing one of those like half circle things to measure an angle. Its kunyami is going to be mochiru. Yeah, mochiru, and its onyami is going to be, I think this is yo. Yeah, yo. Next thing we're going to look at is what, and this is basically, people look at this as like, what can't Mr. T do? But I just remember this one because I've seen it a lot recently while studying. Its kunyami is going to be nani, like, oh, nande, or nani. If you've heard a lot of people like ask questions, or Japanese people in conversation, or watched a lot of anime, there's a lot of nani, or nande, nandes. So that's how I remember this one. And its onyami is going to be ka. This is street, and it just looks like two streets meeting each other at an intersection. Its kunyami is going to be hinoto, and its onyami is going to be, I believe this is cho. Yeah, cho. Always confuses me. Next thing we're going to look at is generation, and this just looks like, I saw this, and the mnemonic for it is kind of weird. I don't know why it works, but it totally works for me. It's just that it's 10 years plus 10 years plus 10 years. Like, it looks like 10 and then 10 and then 10. And so 10 plus 10 plus 10 equals a generation. I don't know why that works, but it totally does. I have not forgotten this one after I read that. Its kunyami is going to be yo, and its onyami is going to be sei. Sei seems like a very popular Chinese word. I feel like you could do like an entire story. I think there's one like that, but they have the tonation, so that's why it makes more sense for them. Next one we're going to look at is both, and it's got mountain and then enclosure, and I just look at it like the enclosure of the enclosure, like a cave and a mountain is like both things, I guess. It's kind of weird that I think of it like that, but that works for me. Its kunyami is going to be teru, and its onyami is going to be ryu. Ryo, my bad. Ryo. Next thing we're looking at is Lord or Chief, and this is just basically king with a thing on top. which makes chief is basically like the king. Its nushi is going to be its kunyami, I believe. This is nushi. Yeah, nushi, and its onyami is going to be, my bad, I clicked on that, is going to be shu. Next thing we're going to look at is ride, and I guess this just kind of looks like somebody riding on a thing. Well, it's got like person on the top, and then they're riding on this thing. I have a really hard time with this one. This one I just had to study a lot. As with department store, actually, with department or whatever, I needed to study a lot for that one. Its kunyami is going to be noru, and its onyami is going to be, let me make sure I got this right, jo. This one's beforehand, and it's got myself and this junction here, but a lot of people look at it like a halberd that's been shortened, so they wish they would have thought beforehand to not make the halberd shortened or not have a defense on it. Its kunyami is going to be, let me try to read this, arakajime. And I believe this is yo. Yeah, yo. Arakajime and yo. This one's going to be matter. This is another one I just had to pound down. I couldn't really think of a good story for it. There was one in Anki. You could try to use that one if you want. Can't really remember what that was, but yeah, this is just one of the ones I had to really work on. And I'm still not fully comfortable with this one. Its kunyami is going to be koto, and its onyami is going to be ji. Oh, I got this one open twice. This is going to be attend, and this is person and ground. And I just think like when a person goes to the grounds for something, they're attending it. Its kunyami is going to be tsukaeru. Tsukaeru. And its onyami, I believe this is shi. Yeah, shi. Last one we're going to look at is other, and this is to be a person. And to be a person inherently means that that's another person that isn't you, because this isn't yourself. So that's how I look at this one. Just to be a person is to be someone other than me. And its kunyami is going to be, I believe this is haka, but hoka, my bad, hoka. And this is ta. So hoka and ta. That's going to be all for today, guys. So that leaves us at number 249. We're really burning through these, but we slowed down a little bit, as I thought we might have to, because I'm not quite able to keep up with the study, because I'm learning these every day, so I'm just pounding these out. But I'm gonna try to get back on track, because this is a bigger day than 30, because I missed a few days there. And I'm actually going to post the last video. I made it yesterday, but I said I was going to make another video tomorrow, but I'm just going to post both of them today. So there's going to be a big influx today, and then, and then I'll try to catch up tomorrow. And hopefully we get back to just doing 30 a day. I might have to do even less than that. I might have to go down to 20, because it's starting to get pretty hard to remember all of these. So that's me signing off. Have a great day. Hopefully see you tomorrow.